Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, a fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild. We're running wild. Underneath the rows of trees, I will see where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. Silent ball, the wind is calling. You must return to the wild.
We're starting another episode this week, and this will probably be the final episode in this series as we work our way back towards Townsville. We're starting this series at the Billabong or Lake Francis, I think it's called, at Camooweal. So this is the furthest west we've been in Queensland.
Well, it is the furthest west Queensland town, isn't it?
It is, yes. In fact, it is the most
We're
western.
going to hop into the Northern Territory border.
We're going to do the photo bomb at the Northern Territory border sign. So we'll
I've
do
never
that.
actually been to the Northern Territory, so
Me neither. So
we'll have to make it another trip.
Absolutely. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this week will be Camooweal, Mount Isa. We'll visit the iconic Walkabout pub, which was
Probably
in
stop for a drink or two.
I'm sure we will.
Yes.
Because it's pretty hot. So that's the pub that was in the Crocodile Dundee movie. And from there we'll go Julia Creek or Winton, Hughenden, Townsville, something like that. So pretty much we're going from the western border to the eastern coast in this week, which may be about 10 days for this episode. We're travelling in that period of time where it's just starting to warm up, particularly in northern Australia and the tropics, and we have been having regular 37, 38 degree days. However, it's actually pretty advantageous this time of year, I think, because when you're at spots where there is a good water supply for swimming, such as Gregory River, Adele's Grove, etc., it's just beautiful to jump in the water and swim, and but because it's hot enough, but you still have the cool nights. Like our nights are cooling down to 18 and 19, so it's really good. Like midwinter, you probably wouldn't want to go for a swim. It's just too cold.
Definitely
a bit later on in the summer, you're probably hitting 40 degree days and it's great for swimming, but then your nights are 25, 26 and they're just a little bit harder to sleep, particularly when you're going to bed at 32 or 33 degrees. So
particularly at our age, or my age.
We've gotten soft in our older age, I think. Anyway, enough babbling.
Menopause.
We hope you enjoy this episode. At Camooweal, the Billabong camping ground, which is a free camp spot on, I think it's the Georgian River, but this part's called Lake Francis, or the Billabong camping. There's a good couple of 100 metres of campsites along here, so plenty of room to park nice and parallel to the lagoon or lake and look out over it. Bird life's good, so it's a bit of fun. There is another spot about 1.5 kilometres further down the road once you first enter, past some cattle grids, and there's a large lake area there similar to this. However, it's probably a little larger and the water's a little clearer down there as well. I mean, you can swim in here if you like swimming in muddy water. It is clay bottom. Like as soon as you get near the banks, you sink into the clay. So it's not pleasant, and we're not going to swim in it. But you know, if you really want to, you could. The birds love it. As you can see, the broilers are down there. They've been putting on a bit of a display for us. And this is our campsite up here. The 2 zones. I definitely recommend it. Free camp and very pleasant. Coming in here, we just used Wikicamps to GPS us in. It did take us to the wrong side of the Billabong. There's another road on the far side over there. Try to bring us in that side, which has no entry down here. You can't get to it. You do need to continue west and cross over the Georgina River Bridge. And as soon as you cross over the bridge, you'll see a left-hand turn that goes down the dirt track, which leads to here. So don't go down left at the pub like we did, which Wikicamps will lead you to. Cross the Georgina River first and take the first left turn to get into here. We're at the NT border, as you can see, and we're lining up to do our photo opportunity. So there's another van's patiently waited for us to go up and do the drone photos. And now Rob and Carolyn will go up next. That's our entry to the NT border and back home again.
The caves are located to the south of Camooweal, about 20 kilometres along a dirt road, which is moderately corrugated in places. The caves are located underground, and the viewing platforms show sinkholes into underground caves which are not accessible. Some of the sinkholes are reported to be over 75 metres deep. There is another set of smaller caves located about 2 kilometres outside of Camooweal on the Gregory Downs Road. Just to add confusion, these smaller caves are also referred to as the Camooweal Caves.
Here we go, the Camooweal Caves. Interesting. That's about it. So we overnight last night at Mount Isa on our way slowly towards Townsville. We've moved on from there and just not far from Mount Isa, about 60-70k onto onto Corella Dam. There's a small part a bit further down called Clem Walters Dam, but this part is Corella Dam. Beautiful. Look at our site over here. The water level apparently is very low. According to people who've camped here before, they've said it's much lower than it normally is. And not as nice as it normally is, but to me it still looks very nice. You can swim here, it's not too muddy, it's actually probably more rocky than muddy. There are freshwater crocs. I did see a freshwater croc earlier, but I don't think that is a problem. And we've got ourselves a nice site here where we are. And we'll enjoy a couple of days here. Things I've seen on various YouTube clips from time to time is the Mary Kathleen mine between Cloncurry and Mount Isa. I've always thought I'd like to go and have a look, so now we finally have the opportunity. So we're first going to have a look at the township, or what used to be the township obviously, and then we're going to have a look at the old mine site itself, so that's where we're headed in now.
The Mary Kathleen uranium mine commenced in 1956. The mine closed in 1963, only to reopen again in 1974 when further uranium oxide was mined from the pit. The township had a population of more than 1,100 people at this time.
Guessing this would have been a little fountain or something. Over this way was the general store and wet canteen according to the map. So you can camp here now, and as you can see there are vans here at various different locations around the place, free camping. It's pretty fascinating. I mean, there's not a real lot to look at, it's really just the slabs left over and the map that we've looked at. But it's just really fascinating. You know, they had an entire town here, a population at one stage of 1,100. With general store and wet canteen and swimming pool, Olympic-sized swimming pool, etc. And all the housing. And the whole thing was completely dismantled. The area back towards where we're parked is referred to as the town square. That is where the map's actually located. And there's a couple of beautiful, I'd call them ghost gums, I'm not sure what they are, but beautiful big ghost gums there. There's a number of these ghost gums in the area.
The mine was considered mined out after the second campaign, which ceased in 1982. The mine was decommissioned after 1982 by the operator, and the township was dismantled by 1984 and the buildings sold by auction. The area is now available as a free camp with a considerable range of cement slabs to choose from.
Network of bitumen roads throughout. It's a bitumen road from the town into the mine site, but there are a few potholes because, as you can imagine, it's not looked after anymore.
About 6 kilometres from the camp is an open cut pit, which is very interesting and well worth the extra drive for viewing.
The last kilometre to the pit is reasonably rough and is not well signed. There was one little sign that just had an arrow with the word pit on it. And I mean, you can do it in two-wheel drive, you'd be going really slowly and taking it steady. Anyway, and we're on foot to the last pit. The sign says warning, contamination hazard. Down there would be the truck entrance into the mine site when it was operating. May not come through on the GoPro, but the sunlight colours, the sunset colours on that range with the reflections is just beautiful. And we're kicking back and having our dinner and just sitting back and enjoying the view.
I mean, it is
Really is quite stunning. We got quite a storm last night. We woke up to a rather grey and overcast day, but it's not raining, so hopefully things can dry a little bit so we can get packed to go. It was not a lot of rain, but boy, it really blew a gale. I was really concerned about the awning, but it held up, thankfully. Had the anti-flap kit on and tied down, so that was good. Blew water into through the windows. We had the windows open, of course, and had to scamper around closing windows throughout the night. So everything's a little bit wet now. But we had lightning and really strong wind and thunder, and then eventually the rain came, and then it was funny because it was coming in through the driver's side windows, the rain, when we closed them all down, and then it just went still, quiet. The rain stopped, it was nice and still for a bit. Then the wind started again and the rain started again. It was coming from the opposite direction, just like a little mini cyclone with the eye of the cyclone. So, and it blew again for quite a while and then settled down. So we've got a bit of a wet morning to pack up and move on. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, we've left Corella Dam. The resident 1 million mosquito population there is a big miss.
Oh, it was awful. It was so horrible.
They actually didn't bite very much at all. They just hung around and got into the van. That's the main thing.
So there's those little tiny little mosquitoes and just love light. So we were inundated with mosquitoes.
Yeah. Maybe they weren't mosquitoes, but they look like mosquitoes, but they just didn't really bite us. But yeah, they just got in all the time. We end up just sealing up all the windows, and of course that gets warm, etc. So I would think Corella Dam is a beautiful campsite. The dam is a little bit low, and of course it just happened to be that there's a little mosquitoes there, which I'm sure is not normally like that. However, we were going to go only a short distance and stay at Mary Kathleen Township, which we looked at yesterday, and you would have seen the video, because we thought it was, not only do we really enjoy the township,
so much history.
Yeah.
Mary Kathleen is a must-see, and of course the uranium mine site, about 6 kilometres on from the township. That was just stepping into something so incredibly
different.
Yeah,
Oh,
very,
nice. Yeah,
very, very different. The colour in that, what was it? It's a
pit. It's a mine
it's a pit, mine pit. It was just incredible. It was very, very interesting. A must see, definitely.
Yeah, it was all very interesting. The township, the history of it, and the mine, and then viewing the mine itself.
So, how many people? What was the population of Mary Kathleen? Was it 2,200?
1,100.
Oh, 1,100. Yeah.
So our intention was to stay there tonight, but we had about 3 storm cells come through last night. A lot of lightning, thunder, and very, very windy, and a bit of rain. And we just decided, and it's a very grey day today. It looks like probably more storm cells will be coming through.
Yeah.
So we've decided to give it a miss, which is a shame because we intended to stay there the night, but for the day we were going to do a day trip today out on the Ballara Mining Heritage Trail and look at some of the other old mine sites and the remnants of those towns. There was a railway tunnel, and also go and look at Fountain Springs, which apparently is very beautiful. It's a little waterfall.
We'll have to go back.
So we will definitely keep that one on the list for when we head back out this way.
Yeah.
But now we're on our way through Cloncurry to McKinley to stay at the Walkabout Pub for the evening. So the Walkabout
Anything
Pub...
with the word pub in is always a good thing.
So we're not alcoholics though.
No, we're definitely not, but we do like a beer and a glass of wine.
Yeah, so the Walkabout Pub was the pub that starred in the movie of Crocodile Dundee, where he visited the pub and stayed at the pub a couple of occasions. And so then we thought we'll go via the Walkabout Pub and just view that, because we love that sort of culture and history and things like that. So that's where we're headed. So we'll catch you later on. We've arrived in McKinley and we're staying overnight only, staying at the back of the Crocodile Dundee Walkabout Creek Pub or Hotel, which is obviously from the movie Crocodile Dundee. Anyway, this is where we're staying for the evening. Of course, now we're going to do the right thing and go inside and have a drink and chat to the locals. From the movie. Apparently you can't waste your stubbies. It's always a good use for them. The old paper notes, $2 coins, pound notes. Well, we finished our overnighter at the Walkabout Creek Hotel at McKinley and now on our way to Winton. It is 12:30.
Later than we'd planned to leave.
It is later than we planned to leave. We're pretty much ready to leave around 9:45, I think. Hopped in the car, pressed the button to start, and nothing. Wouldn't even light the lights on the dashboard. The battery was dead. So fortunately we had one of those battery jump starters. So Rob, our travelling companion, got the DC meter out and checked the battery. It was 3.5 volts. So that didn't give us much confidence. Put the jump starter on it and it drained it in two attempts and not even close to starting. he had one as well, so we put his on and we got 3 attempts out of his, drained it completely, not even close to starting. And today, of course, it's the 22nd of September, which by the time you see this will be a few
Brand
months
new
away.
public holiday.
Brand new public holiday for the remembrance of the Queen's
And rightly so.
death. So we thought, oh, we're in a spot of bother, aren't we? McKinley's got about 4 houses there, and of course there's no garage. So we rang our Isuzu Care, which utilised RECQ, and 3 hours later on the road. So not even 3 hours, two and three-quarter hours later on the road.
He had to come from Cloncurry, so that was
Yeah. So I was
really
fairly,
good service.
I was fairly impressed. You know, he drove from Cloncurry, which is 110k, replaced our battery, and here we are on the road. So unfortunately, our battery, even though it's only about 18 months old, is not covered under warranty, so we did have to pay for that, which I'm not terribly happy with. But we didn't have to pay for any of the call
Travel
out,
costs.
the travel costs on a public holiday, etc. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now on the way to Winton, and coincidentally,
There's the big Winton Bash, the 50-year Bash, I think it's called, isn't it?
50-year Outback Festival.
Yeah, woohoo!
So apparently they have the Outback Festival every second year, and even though 50 is an even number, I don't quite understand. Anyway, it's not due this year, but because this is the 50th year since the first one, they're having one this year.
Yeah.
So we've timed up pretty well.
Fortunately, we have got a booking at one of the parks there, and
Yeah, I'm surprised we got a booking because we only booked it yesterday and got 3 nights there. So we'll be there for 2 of the 3 days that the festival runs. So
yeah. So look out, Winton.
looking forward to that. We'll see you there.
Signing out.
We're about 60 k's outside of Winton, coming from McKinley. Just pull over a rest area, but just look at the interesting rock formations around here, with the obviously caused by erosion or something like that over time. A number of these little hills. It's got a truck going up by the looks of it. I'm fairly certain this area, or a bit further down, is called the Pinnacles, and we camped here when we first picked the van up. And that was along this area, and it looks very similar, so I'd say this is referred to as the Pinnacles. But yeah, very interesting with the rock formation and stuff. In Winton, we're staying at the Tattersall Hotel Caravan Park. Very tight, hence our cars parked in under the awning almost. But $30 a night, considering it's a festival weekend, I'm happy to pay that. And we're about to go for a walk now and see what's happening. I think the festival is due to open at 11:30.
Come on down.
Enjoying our walk around and also listening to music while we're here.
That big old moon is shining down. Tell me now, don't it remind you?
Here's me. We found our spot. The pub. Have a meal. A drink. Just here we have the one RAR band from Townsville getting all the gear out, and they'll be playing in about an hour's time. So we're really looking forward to hearing from them because they are fantastic. We've heard them a few times before. They are great. One RAR band setting up and looking forward to it. We've arrived in Hughenden yesterday and just going to drive down the main street to have a look around. As you can imagine, Main Street's not terribly huge. Just stopped here to have a look at this monument, a little rotunda here on the windmills, and just see what they're about. And I do spot that down there is the F.J. Holden Cafe, which I have heard of, and it's got good reviews, so we'll probably visit there. Or the Lolly ice cream shop, but more likely the F.J. Holden Cafe down a bit further.
There is a free camp located on the southern outskirts of the town. It is a large, flat area with plenty of room for rigs of all sizes. The camp area provides drinking water, a dump point and rubbish bins, as well as basic covered camp kitchen. Even nicer is the Hughenden recreational lake, which is located across the road from the camp. The lake is a multi-use lake shared by boaters, water skiers, fishers and swimmers. There are plenty of idyllic spots to make use of the shaded playgrounds and barbecue picnic areas.
We're going to test run the recreational lake. So there's a swimming area designated here, and on the far side is some sort of boating area, and then over further is a fishing area. So they've broken it up into 3 sort of areas. So we're about to try to swim. So we think it's a bloody hot day. I think it was 35.5 or something like that on the temp inside the van. So swimming time it is. Should be beautiful. So pool noodles are last year. This is the new floating device to take with you. The old mats for the camping area. Also great for floating. Once you settle yourself in, they go brilliantly. I haven't quite got it right because I'm holding the GoPro in one hand, but I was on them quite earlier and it works very well. So floor mats, these rubber floor mats, or whatever they are made of, just can't get it settled right now, but they are great for floating. This is really nice lake to swim in. We're all just getting out now. Oops, there goes one of my floaties. It's really quite good. There's fish jumping around, so obviously the fishing is good. There's a nice little waterfall over there, over this way, flowing down. It's just an artificial waterfall, obviously, to keep a bit of movement in the water. So Hughenden have done a great job with this recreational lake. It's really quite pleasant. Good morning. This morning we're doing a trip from Hughenden to Porcupine Gorge. We've picked up a map from the information centre which has a number of points of interest along the way, so we'll drop into those various points of interest and have a look at them and end up at Porcupine Gorge. So these couple of bits of timber along here you can see, and extending on with, but it used to be the old dingo fence. So the longest fence in the world, over 5,000 kilometres long and travelled. That's all that remains of it now. Some on this side of the road we're looking at, and some on the far side of the road. Gorge. Certainly a lot of basalt, as the sign says. So we've arrived at Porcupine Gorge, had a bit of a look around the camping area where the caravans and camper trailers are camped. It looks pretty good actually, not too bad. Some of the sites are a bit small, it'll be a bit hard getting the caravan in, so might be a bit of pot luck there whether you get the good one or not. Went to they do have toilet facilities here, which are, oh, they're relatively clean, but boy, they're high in the nose. They're not that pleasant really, but there are two walks to do here. The one's the rim walk along the top, which is about exits near. Hi, how you going?
Good.
So it exits from near campsite 12 at the camping area, and the other one's the walk down into the gorge itself, which is what we're about to do, which I don't know the distance is. I think it was 1.2, about half-hour walk they said down, and longer up because it's obviously steep coming back up, so that's what we're doing now. The trip down is relatively steep in parts, not as much as the Grove was, but it's pretty good. It's quite rocky, and I think it's graded as moderate trip down, and much harder trip back up. The view going down is quite nice. This section's a bit steeper. You gotta watch with the sand on some of the rocks, it's a bit slippery. Well, we've made it down. We didn't time it, so I don't know how long it took. It's probably about 25 minutes, I think. The water is not deep, knee deep by the looks, but looking forward to getting in it nevertheless. Well, this is our little water hole. It is cool, it is bracing, but it's a warm day and it is beautiful. Hopefully my hat floats. Oh, it's probably chest deep. I don't want to go right in there in case that's where the little freshwater croc hides.
Everyone said don't go near the croc. Snap, snap, snap.
It is beautiful. Very much recommended to do this outside winter so you can go for a swim. And down the end of following the water line down, you can see a rock in the distance shaped like a pyramid, and that is called Pyramid Rock, and I think the campground is called Pyramid Rock Campground, and this is Porcupine Gorge, and it is beautiful. Now comes the fun part, returning back up. Ooh, here comes the Stairmaster section. So it's like a Stairmaster going up here. This is giving the thighs a bit of a workout, the calves. It's a bit hard going. But wait, there's more. We made it. 1.2k up, and it took us 24.5 minutes, I've been told by the timekeeper. Whew, I think we need to go for a swim. Let's go back down, eh? Well, hello everyone. This is bringing this episode to an end, and it's also bringing our second series to an end as we're heading back to Townsville today, back to our home.
Well, we've just said goodbye to our fellow travellers, Rob and Carolyn. We've had a great time travelling with them in our Western Queensland area.
Northwestern Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the second series has been a great series. The first part travelling down through central Queensland and into New South Wales down to Narrabri before returning up the coastline, and then the second part of it was travelling up the east coastline towards Cooktown and up towards Cowan and back down around to the Gulf, northwest Queensland, and now heading back home through Mount Isa, Hughenden, back to Townsville. What's been your highlights of the two parts?
I'd have to say that the gorges, the walks and swims in the beautiful gorges in our great state, Thornhill and the Porcupine Gorge. We thoroughly enjoyed trekking in the Porcupine Gorge and swimming. We found a lovely little waterhole there, which of course cooled us down after the long walk down, but of course it didn't cool us down on the long walk back up.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the gorges and the swimming in the gorges were the highlight for us, which is the first time I've done that because we normally are travelling more in the winter period and it's just a bit too cold to swim. But now we're travelling on spring in September, and it's been really quite hot up in the tropics. Peak day was 39, so it did allow us to. I don't think this guy should be overtaking now.
Okay, we've got a lot of travellers on the road, particularly vans overtaking. Is it any wonder people have accidents in vans? Crazy drivers.
Well, it was just more so that it was starting to overtake on the crest of the hill that he pulled back. Anyway, look. The swimming was really great, and we see lots of other travel vloggers swimming, and for us it's always been too damn cold to swim, but this time we got into swimming and it was really great.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did enjoy Narrabri in New South Wales in the first part.
Yeah.
First one was a bit of a tougher travel part because we had so much rain. Quilby was really good, but we had to sort of leave Quilby because rain was coming. I would like to have spent more time around there. Perhaps got out to Erramonga and some of those places around there. So we'll have to go back there, obviously. So we've now travelled between the caravan trips we've done where we've started the vlogging in ones previous to that. A fair old chunk of Queensland.
Yeah.
We've still got some of the southwestern corn to do, like Winduri and Boulia and Birdsville, the 3 Bs. But we have travelled a lot of Queensland, so I might just put up a little bit of a map showing you where we've travelled over the last few years.
Speaking of bees, bee words, what about birds? What's been the highlight? You've had 20 lifers?
20 lifers for this trip, so that's
in case you
good.
hadn't worked out, Paul's a birder.
And a lifer is a bird you've not seen before, so it's the first time in your life you've seen it. Well, seen it and recognised as to what it was. So 20 lifers for this trip, so and I'll put a few more bird photographs up at the end of this.
What was your favourite?
Probably wanting to get out and see those purple-crowned fairy wrens was one of my favourites. They weren't quite in their full colour, but they're still quite nice. I'd like to see some of the grass wrens, but never mind. Anyway, thanks for watching this series, and we might put up one or two short posts between now and next year if we do a long weekend away or a week trip somewhere. Otherwise it'll be, like I said, end of March, April next year before we hit the road again.
Yeah.
This series hasn't gone up onto YouTube as I would have liked because our computer died, so we'll head back home, get the computer fixed, and start putting these series up. Anyway, or these episodes up. Anyway,
Au revoir.
bye bye.